Oh, well, my journey began. I had just started a new job, and I noticed that my belly was getting bigger. It was just big, looked like I was pregnant. And I didn't know what was wrong with me. And so I went to the doctor. I told the doctor I had a cold or something like that. So the doctor said, "Oh," while he was examining, he said, "Are you pregnant?" I said, "No." So he took an x-ray and he said, "I'm going to send you over to a gynecologist so you can have a vaginal, was it ultrasound?" So from there, I didn't go. I went to the VA because I'm a veteran also. So I went and called the doctor, and she immediately sent me to get a CT scan and then made an appointment for me. Meanwhile, I had got the CT scan and I had my appointment. And while I was sitting in the waiting room, I saw these little teal cards. I was reading the card. Every symptom that was on the card, I had. So I talked to the doctor, and the doctor said, "Well, you're going to have to do surgery. And also, you have a tumor the size of a football." So from there, they made an appointment at the University of Illinois, and that's where I met my now oncologist, gynecologist. And so from there, we had the surgery, set the date for the surgery. And in my mind, I said, "You have cancer, you have this ovarian thing." Because that's the first time I ever heard of it. So had the surgery, was in the hospital. The doctors came up the next day to tell me that I had ovarian cancer. And I said, okay, because I had already read about it, but I didn't know anything about it. And everything started going real fast. Had my chemo and everything, and it was really, really rushed. So what happened when I would get my chemo, I felt good, but I would stay in the house. And my doctor called me. She said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm in the house." She said, "Why are you staying in the house? Are you sick? Are you tired?" I said, "No." She said, "Well, just try to have a normal life, go out and do things." But it didn't really hit me until I started having chemo. And then I said, "Oh, girl, you have cancer." And I was just really, at that time, I had a lot of anxiety. But I got through the chemo and everything. And I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it. But I had a very good doctor. She was very kind, very considerate, great bedside manner. And she's with me today. I'm with her today. And she told me, she said, "You know what? I was a baby. I just started being a doctor." I said, "Well, I was a baby too. I've never had ovarian cancer." So we have a great relationship. So that is my journey in a nutshell. It still kind of gives me goosebumps just to talk about it because everything just happened so fast.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. Mm, that, um, my journey began at the end of, well, kind of the end of the 2020. So it was right when, I guess, COVID, I think it was April. Um, I had been diagnosed when I started bleeding out of, so I think they were already suspecting that maybe it had to do with menopause. And I'm like, "No, over that 10 years or something like that." And when they did I went and I adopted a cat. That's how it happened. The cat jumped on my belly. And I think in the morning, I realized, the bleeding, it was unexpected because they thought that maybe it might have been menopause bleeding. From there, my regular doctor then she took some tests, and then when I came back, she said possibility that it might be something that had to do with cancer. Um, so she sent me to the oncologist for the exam there, and that's when I was told I had stage 3 ovarian cancer, and I began my journey. once they did the surgery, they recommended to do the hysterectomy, a full hysterectomy. By then, it already had spread to the stomach area. So I had to go back for the second surgery to remove what was, I guess, gone, moved up. I started my chemo, and it's just been a whirlwind. I finished that in May of 2022, and I am currently in the stage of maintenance for over a year, and it's every 3 weeks. And the medication is, I guess, still fighting it. So it is an anxiety that I go back every 3 weeks, and so I scans every 3 months, and I'm just nervous every time I go back because it isn't the treatment is every 3 weeks and the scans are every 3 months. So just that fear of it having to go back and looking to see, okay, why am I not off of this already? They just can't seem to get the levels up on the blood count. So nervous stays there, but I'm so happy and so grateful that I'm here today. I'm enjoying myself, and I live by day. And I thank God for each day that I've been given. That's my story. Thank you.
I did forget to mention that my journey started in 2008. It was 2008 when my journey started. I didn't mention that, but yes, it was 2008. So,
and that's something that for me, like when I see survivors, that just like keep going.
Yeah, just keep going. It impacted my life in a way that it just kind of like knocked the wind out of me, because I was asking myself questions in my mind like, oh my goodness, what's going to happen next? Um, will I be able to still, function, like go to work? Will I still work? And it was my father and my son. Um, my dad lived with me, so my father and my son treated me like normal, even though I told them that I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. They just treated me normal. My sister, she would do all the little things for me, but because when I was diagnosed, I had just started a new job, so and my mind wasn't really on this new job, because I knew something was wrong with me, prior to me being diagnosed. But after I was diagnosed, then I just didn't go back to the job, and I just focused on myself. And I tried to do everything that I could to make my life as normal as possible, which is pretty hard. But and my doctor, the one bit of advice she gave me, she said, please don't go online and Google, because you once you Google, you'll be like, oh my goodness. So I didn't do that. And I didn't work. So I was mainly focusing on myself, you know, um, taking care of myself, walking, listening to my doctor, listening to my body, really. So it just impacted me. And sometimes even today, it'll come back and kind of hit me hard. I said, you have ovarian cancer, and you're going to have to just deal with this for the rest of your life, but you have to just do some other things, be more mindful of everything, and the things that doesn't really make a difference, just cast those off to the side. Then you go in your kid's room and it's dirty. What do? You scream no, you shut the door, and you go and take care of yourself. That's how I look at it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just keep it the main thing, and that self-care, taking care of myself.
I think it impacted my life with my children. Fear. Uh, they're overwhelmed. They lost their grandmother and their grandfather, which was my mom and dad. Short time before that, maybe a year before that. I also went through a divorce. 40 something years we were together. And so I didn't have the partner that I did when I was young. So that impacted my life in that way. COVID, uh, solitaire, I guess. Learning how to live with myself, by myself. Uh, Challenges with work, staying at work. I had wanted to retire, and then now I had to change the mindset of having to work longer uh, to support myself. And but one of the things is anything that I can take away is that my children were there for me. They never wavered. My brothers and sisters were always there, and my dear friend. So I guess at the end of the day, you realize who's still standing. And then, you have to think for myself too. Will I be there for someone else? Because at the end of the day, you stand by yourself, but you also have those people that are there through thick and thin. And you don't realize who they are until it happens. So that's where I am now. I'm grateful, just grateful.
Well, the NOCC was very helpful. When I first met them, they were very warm. They were inviting. I would go downtown to a lot of the events. I became involved in the Ovarian Cancer Walk, which I really enjoy. And I would spread the word. I got the cards. I talked to all my friends. I talked to some of the guys that I knew, and I give them the cards. I said, "This is very important for you to know this because this disease is silent." And sometimes, when a woman has certain symptoms going on and she goes to her doctor, the doctor may just blow it off as, "Oh, you know what, it's in your head," or, "Oh, you just have gas." I said, if your doctor is not willing to listen to you, you need to get another, get another doctor. I said, so it's just something that you just have to always, at least for me, I'm always talking to women about this. When you gonna get your checkup at your doctor, your annual, and I tell them, I say, your doctor needs to be thorough and answer your questions, not a 5 minute, exam. So yeah.
The wellness house, the NOCC, um, I was referred to them by one of my dear friend, uh, Karen, who who's experienced breast cancer, and it ran in her family, and she was aware of NOCC for her because of her sister, I believe, and they were there to help me right after my chemo, and I went for the walks, and I got given wigs and makeup and self care, and that I wasn't alone. And I think that's important is that you're not alone. It's just a matter of you opening up and willing to want to talk to other people. Because, even though you have family, it's just kind of almost like I feel like I'm a burden. And they may not feel what I feel with my ups and downs in life. Uh, and in the age group that I'm in as well. Um, and that I want to fight to live till I'm in my 90s. So the wellness house, NLCC and the wellness house all together, they have been there for me. And I'm so, so happy they were. Support groups.
Support groups,
like
NOCC.
Yeah.
Listen to your doctor. Don't Google ovarian cancer. Just listen to your doctor. And if you have any questions and you get a little nervous, write your questions down when you go to your doctor. That way you can ask and you can also, answer. So, and it's always good to take pen and paper with you because you have so many questions yeah. But if you look on your paper, you just ask your doctor and just write down the answers. But yeah, your doctor, NOCC, and any cancer support center like the Wellness Center.
Yeah. I think it's important to really have a connection with your doctor
Yes.
I am very, very, I'm lucky to have Dr. Macarnici as part of the dentist who has been there for me, as well as Nilam. They're the nurses who are so caring, just, just their gifts. And don't be afraid to ask questions. And if you're not happy with the questions, then with the answers, then, get a second opinion. But definitely, definitely not Dr. Google.
No, not Dr. Google.
And,
No.
don't be afraid to ask, to ask questions. If you don't know, and there's nothing stupid to be asked, because it's your life. And really, your life is in your hands. Mm-hmm. And the more you know, the better place you'll be. Mm-hmm.